Welcome to the Avatar Slang Podcast, your ultimate go-to for exploring the worlds of fiction, fandom, and nerd culture, where they collide with politics, society, and everything in between. Before we dive into today's episode, don't forget to follow the Avatar Slang Podcast on Spotify or your favorite platform so you never miss a new release. The podcast is also available on YouTube, so be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I'm also active on TikTok and Instagram at avatar.slang. That's avatar.slang. On there, I post short videos about the type of topics we discuss here. No matter which platform you use, sharing the podcast and my content with a friend or leaving a review really helps me grow and bring you more great content. Now let's get into it. Today I'm joined by Brandon, also known as the Cozmik Collector, a TikTok creator who deep dives into comics and geek culture on TikTok and YouTube. We talk about everything from how he got into content creation to his love for DC Comics and why he prefers physical copies over digital, plus the challenges of jumping into continuity-heavy series and even mixing in some football and gaming talk. This episode is packed with great conversations. I really enjoyed this one, so sit back and enjoy. And of course, there's a spoiler alert.
This is the spoiler alert. You've been warned.
So how I see like your following's like growing. How'd you first get into this? Like as far as doing it online?
Oh, like content creation?
Yeah.
It started with just me posting like hauls. Like it would be like, I got some new figures or I got some new comics, and I didn't really show my face. I just throw some music on and be like, here's my haul for the day. And then eventually I started showing my face in them, and I started talking about comics and doing like little games on my platform, and that's when I started doing a little bit better. But I didn't expect it to get anywhere near where it's at now. So it's just...
Okay. So this is random. Like this is not scripted or anything. You ever been compared to like Matt Murdock?
Yes. I personally don't see it, but okay. I have got Charlie Cox a lot.
Okay. See, it didn't even dawn on me that it'd be that version, but you look like you fit the... I don't know. You ever see when someone gets casted, it's like comic characters look different depending on the run, but yet it's like you kind of have a vision of what you expect for casting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you kind of fit that for him, even without Charlie Cox come to mind.
I never thought about it because he's ginger, right? I think it's
know.
I think he is. I'm pretty. Like, I think it's inconsistent, but
you know about Daredevil or Charlie Cox?
Yeah, Daredevil.
Oh, I thought he was. I always thought he had brown hair, but I'm not. I'll be honest. I'm not up to date on reading him. It's been I haven't read him in like 20 years.
I don't read any Marvel, so you're probably no more than Like I read like the Ultimate Universe, but mostly I'm just picking up DC and indie. I don't pick up a lot of Marvel.
Okay. What are you reading these days?
Pretty much every DC ongoing coming out right now and limited series. A couple of different indie books. I'm working my way through the Young Animal era of DC right now. Yeah. It was spearheaded by Gerard Way, the lead singer of My Chemical Romance.
Oh,
so he wrote like Doom. Yeah, he wrote like Doom Patrol, and there's one called Cave Carson and Gotham or Mother Panic, and it's all kind of like in continuity, but they have like more adult feel to them. Really, really cool books. So I'm working my way through that right now.
Okay, so you grew up with comics, or did you jump in at a certain point in your life?
I grew up with comic content. Like I watched all the shows and the movies and stuff like that. I didn't like pick up a comic until I was like probably like 12-ish.
Oh, that's a good age.
Yeah, and I was like, this looks cool, and I picked up like a random volume of Deadpool, and then like it kind of, once I got into high school, I kind of dropped it a little bit, and then when I got into college, I was reading them online, and I was like, I really want to pick up comics again. And the Batman, Robert Pattinson's Batman, that movie is what kickstarted everything now, because I saw that movie, so I picked up the Batman figure from Walmart. That was my first figure that I got, like getting back into it, and then I picked up The Court of Owls by Scott Snyder. New 52 Batman. And then that just spiraled into everything else.
Really?
Yeah, it was Matt Reeves is the reason that all this exists.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So is that around the time you started doing your content?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've always been a fan of this stuff, but I never, like I said, fully dove in until that movie. And I realized how much fun it was, yeah.
Because people who aren't into these kind of things, like if they were to talk to me or you, they would assume that we're like lifers, and it's like you are to an extent, but like the way they correlate, they don't really understand. Like I wouldn't have guessed that. I would have thought you were you had all this stuff way before that.
Oh no, yeah, it's been I wouldn't say recent, going on like 5 years now,
Yeah.
but um no, I mean that is pretty recent in the grand scheme of like my whole life. But yeah, I've been a fan of like like superheroes since I was
Okay.
little. I have like pictures of me in Superman and Spider-Man shirts, playing with
Yeah.
Spider-Man and Superman action figures. It's always been something I've loved. It's just I didn't dive into it until like around 2020.
Okay. So when you read your comics, I mean, I know some of this because I've been following your stuff, but just for the audience, you usually do physical, right?
I only do physical just because digital. I mean, I don't mind digital. It gives me a headache when I read on my phone. So I'll read it, and my eyes start to hurt. And I'm like, I gotta read a book. I can't do this.
Interesting. I prefer physical. I do have some digital just because I use the Libby app, and if I just randomly search, I'm like, oh, I want to see Hawkeye by Matt Fraction, so I'm gonna see if it's on
Mhm.
there, and it
Yeah,
happens to be.
I'm
So
not knocking digital. I wish I could read it because it would be so much cheaper.
yeah,
But every time I try, I just get this
Mhm.
like searing headache, and I'm like, all right, I gotta pick up a book.
Yeah. Also, for me with digital, it's like I think it's harder for me to read. Like I don't have like headaches or anything, but it's just you gotta fight with the screen. I feel like
Yeah,
the comic is natural. You just
it's just a
know,
book. You just flip the page, and
yeah,
yeah,
don't have to zoom and overthink it. So you don't do any Marvel. Do you do any Marvel media?
yeah. No, no, I love Marvel. I just don't read a lot of Marvel comics, just because I'm not caught up on any continuity, and I'm a continuity buff. Like I like to
Yeah,
read things in order from beginning to end. DC's easy because New 52 rebooted it. You know,
I agree with that.
so I
Like,
started at 2012 and I've been reading, or 2011, and I've been reading kind of everything since.
so
Um,
correct me if I'm wrong, but you're basically saying it's harder to jump into Marvel and like be able to fully know what's going on.
I mean, to me, yes, because even just look at the X-Men alone, and that's probably going to be
Mhm.
the most confusing start for anyone. They're going to be like,
I
start
agree.
at Krakoa, and I'm like, dude, how'd they get to Krakoa? And they're like, don't worry about it. I'm like, no, that's not how that works. Like,
I
I won't.
agree.
Like it's like I want to know how they got to Crow. And they're like, all right, start this run. And I'm like, okay, but how did they get here? And they're
And
like,
you
okay,
gotta
we'll
keep
start at
going
this
back.
one. Yeah, exactly. Whereas DC, after they rebooted it, they have fixed it to where everything that happened before New 52 happened, but it's
Mhm.
only like big moments that are important, like Nightfall. Like I can pick up
Yes.
one trade and know what happened with Nightfall. Under the Red Hood, one trade, I know what happened. I don't have to
Yes.
read an entire arc because they only reference it once or twice every now and then.
Yeah. Whereas I feel like with Marvel, everything just always matters for the longest time.
Everything is like canon, and some stuff obviously has been retconned, but everything as a whole has happened
Hmm.
since the 40s.
Yeah. So, do you cosplay at all?
Uh, Not like professional cosplay or anything. I did just get my
Mhm.
first cosplay for MegaCon. I'm going to Orlando
Okay.
in a week. I'm doing Constantine, so I have a Constantine
I did
cosplay.
see that.
Yeah, and then I've done Matt Murdock for like Daredevil before, and I've done Scarlet Spider Man,
But
and
that doesn't
that's
count because that's just you playing yourself.
yeah, you're right, you're right.
So, besides comics, what other, I'm putting this in quotations because I'm trying to find a word for it. Nerdy things do you get into?
Um, I like video games. I really like. I play Marvel Rivals and like Fortnite and stuff. But I'm just a big like football nerd. I love football.
Oh, okay.
Like, and people don't usually like guess that. They're like, "Oh, you like comic books? What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." I'm like, I've been into football since I was probably longer than I've been into comics. I love watching
Mhm.
football. All I play is Madden, like all the time.
Really?
So yeah, I'm a big football fan.
It's interesting because as I interact with more people online, and then I was reading about it, a lot of, again, I don't have a better word for it, but nerds, they're into sports heavily.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All my like close mutuals love
Hmm.
like basketball, football.
Yeah.
Occasional baseball.
So, how's your sports fandom? Do you know the history of a lot of things, or do you just like what's happening in the moment?
I'm I'm a big fan of it all. I love
Mhm.
like watching the game, but I also
Mhm.
love like the records and
Yeah.
like I love watching like the past Super Bowls that have happened just because I actually think the further you go back, the more interesting they are. Like, I
Yeah.
think the recent like Super Bowls have been kind of meh.
Mhm.
But as a Patriots fan, I love to go back and watch the Falcons one. I love to go back and watch the Seahawks not
Of
run the
course
ball on
you
the
do.
2 yard line. Yeah, like I
Do you
love to
like the
watch
Nick
those
Foles one?
moments. Huh?
Do you like the Nick Foles one?
I don't know what you're talking
Oh,
about.
okay.
That one doesn't exist. His foot was out of bounds.
It's funny because as a Eagles fan, that's not even a conversation. Like I don't even know what play you're talking about. Like that's not
Oh, you
even
don't
me
know what I'm talking
trolling.
about? Oh,
No,
okay,
I
dude.
don't.
Look, I don't really bring it up a lot because as a Patriots fan, I'm not allowed to complain about bad calls. Um, but there were some bad calls in that Super Bowl. Like there was one where the guy caught it at the back of the end zone and his foot went like stepped out of bounds. It was on the white
Was
line.
that the
And they
Zach Ertz one when he took like
no, it was the running back.
Clement?
Clement, yes. Clement
Okay,
caught it. And it was out. And I was like, dude, that's out of bounds. And that
that's
was the one
funny
that
because
gave him the lead.
that's how sports. I know it's supposed to be mostly comics, but we here now. With when you're a part of the fandom, the calls that are for you, it, it's not as much of a conversation because I actually like I have no idea what you're talking about. Like I can't even disagree. I really
Yeah.
don't even
I
remember that.
mean, and the thing is, like, I hate that y'all get all the hype for the Philly special. We
Yeah.
did it first. We just missed it. We did it first in that literally in that game. We did it first, and Brady just dropped it. And then y'all
Was
did
it
that
run
like
exactly the same? Because I remember
it was
thinking
yeah,
that.
it was run almost exactly the same. I don't
Okay,
remember who threw it to Brady though. I want to say it was Edelman,
that
probably
would make
most
sense if it
likely.
was.
Yeah, but
Okay.
either way though, that was a really good game. I really enjoyed
Yeah,
watching that one.
I
But
mean, it's kind of nuts. He threw for 500 yards and lost.
yeah, I know, dude. Gronk and Brady were something else. I miss that era of football.
I'm sure you
Just
do.
yeah. It's not even the winning. It was just they were entertaining to watch play. That era had so many like great players that were just so
Mhm.
fun to watch.
I mean, I get it because that's how I feel about my Eagles. Obviously, the Eagles with Jalen, they're not as good, but I do enjoy these players a lot.
Dude, Saquon. I love Saquon. The only reason that I'm okay rooting for the Eagles right now is because of Saquon. He deserves a ring.
I
He really
agree.
does. After being like tortured on the Giants for so
Oh
many
my
years.
gosh.
Yeah. Finally has an O line. He has a decent team. I'm
Yeah.
ready.
Other weapons to take the pressure off of them.
Hmm.
But yeah, you say you do Rivals and Fortnite?
Yeah, occasionally. I'm not a big competitive gamer. I'm more
Hmm.
of like, because I work a lot. So I do a lot
Yeah.
of like, when I get to play video games, I kind of just like to relax. So I don't
Yeah.
play like competitive ranked or anything like that. I'll just hop on and play some games with my friends, laugh, stuff like that. But yeah, I do like Marvel Rivals. I'm a Moon Knight main.
Are you?
Hmm.
He is so annoying because
He's so broken, dude.
yeah.
The trick
And
is just throw the Ankh in like a
mhm.
place they can't see it, and then just spam the Ankh, and they're done for every time.
Yeah. Like, I'm the only one trying to destroy it, but by the time I destroy it, Moon Knight already killed me. Because I
Yeah.
use Cloak and Dagger a lot.
Oh, okay. Dude, I want to learn how to use them. They're good because you got the constant stream of damage with cloak, and then
Yeah.
you have like the bouncing projectiles with dagger. It's
Yeah.
kind of broken if you figure out how to use both of them.
For me, I feel like they're a broken character because you don't have to aim.
It just
You just have
locks
to
onto
balance the
people.
abilities.
Yeah, and then the dome that heals people. It's
Yeah.
all it's
So, all right. Let's do. What's the most prized comic in your collection?
um. Well, the one that's worth the most money isn't like my most prized.
Okay.
Like I have the first appearance of Blue Marvel that I just found in a garage sale when I was
I
like
love Blue
12, and then
Marvel.
recently I was looking through it and I was like, oh, this thing's worth like 2 grand. Cool.
Okay.
Um, yeah, if it's in good condition, I haven't got it graded. I
Yeah.
probably won't. Um, but my most prized one has to be one of my signed ones. Probably, I have an Infinite Crisis #1, the
Oh,
Jim Lee cover, and it's
yeah.
signed by Jeff Johns and Jim Lee.
Oh,
So
that's
that one's
cool.
pretty cool. And then I have a Deceased #1. Deceased is like my favorite series of all time, and I have it
Mhm.
signed by Tom Taylor. So that was pretty cool as well.
And this is me looking up the cease as we speak.
Oh, you haven't read Deceased? Dude, it's like Walking Dead meets the DC universe. It's got 5 trades, all written by Tom Taylor. The
Oh, I
art
know
is
this.
phenomenal. Yeah,
My
it's good.
mind thought indie at first.
Oh no 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 yeah, it's
Okay.
it's it's out of continuity, but it's yeah, just deceased.
Yeah, yeah. I
It's
know
good.
this. Okay. You said something about the Ultimate Universe earlier. You told like this new Ultimate Universe?
Yeah, I've read a little bit of the old one, like Ultimate
Yeah.
Spider-Man, and a little bit of like Ultimate X-Men, but the new Ultimate Universe, I'm caught up on all of it. I'm loving every single series.
I'm starting this weekend. I've been meaning to
Ooh,
read that and the Absolute DC stuff.
are you not caught up on Absolute either?
It's hard because I do a lot of reviewing and I'm a house owner now, so like that takes up so much time. I work, then I'm in school, and then I decided to be a content creator for what? I'm
Yeah.
reviewing a lot of shows, movies. So it's like I do the comics for me. I don't really review comics that much. The
Mhm.
comics is just for my enjoyment. And when I think I could read at work during my break, I have other teachers coming to talk to me. And it's like it's about a student. So like because we like our jobs, we drop
You
everything
have
and
to.
start. Yeah.
Yeah. That's where I mostly read is at work because I work in like a kitchen. But
Okay.
like it's the same thing. It's like every time like it's like dead, and then every time I sit down and open my
Hmm.
book, someone else just spawns, and I'm like, this has to be a simulation because
Yeah.
they're spawning every time. Like we'll be dead for like 20 minutes. Like all right, I'll read now. Boom, they're there, and I'm like, okay, I give up.
I feel the simulation thing, especially I don't like to force politics on people, especially people like I just met you, but
Yeah.
with everything that's going on, it's like it feels like a simulation sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, we were
Wait,
talking about before. I feel like we were talking about Mark Zuckerberg and stuff. I feel like we're on the same page with
okay, I
everything.
seen your TikToks also.
Yeah, no, I'm very very against what's going on right now.
Okay, so quick question then.
Yeah.
You're in the red state. How's that feel?
Well, I'm from Mississippi, so
Mhm.
Florida's a little bit of an improvement because at least
Ah,
here people don't say the things they say in Mississippi so blatantly.
that's fair.
But yeah, it's not as like I said, it's not as prevalent here. Like you won't walk around and be like, oh, those people are definitely Trump supporters, you know.
Got it.
But at Mississippi, you can tell. Um,
Okay.
but
You know
I'm
something
actually planning to move
crazy?
to Colorado in August, so blue
Really?
state, here I come.
I just did a podcast with someone from Colorado recently. He's
Really?
a Star Wars guy.
Yeah, I've visited once and it was really cool. I can't wait to move there.
Okay. Well, what part, by the way?
Denver area, like
Denver
around it, or
area?
Boulder, somewhere
Oh,
in that
all right.
area.
Well, maybe I gotta meet you there because I really want to visit Denver so badly.
It's really, really nice. Yeah, the
Okay.
mountains, this like Boulder, we were walking around and it's the coolest place.
I think that's where my friend was at, the one I podcast with. Okay. So you wanna know something crazy about the whole you can tell who's what
Mm.
in the Philly area is like that. As progressive as they seem, they're like it's like progressive hotspots, and then there's these people who think they're from West Virginia, but they've lived in Philly their whole lives. It's the weirdest
It,
thing.
it's weird. I've always wondered why Pennsylvania is a swing state. I'm like, what is? It's so far north. You would think that it would like, I don't know.
So the joke is Pennsylvania is the south of the north for that reason.
Really, Florida. The joke of Florida is it's the north of the south because like there are a lot of like it's
Philly
a lot
transplant.
red, but there's also a
Yeah.
lot of blue here.
Yeah, I've noticed that. And there's like the blue has strong pockets, right?
Hmm?
There's like strong pockets of blue in Florida, right?
Yeah, all the big cities,
I
basically.
thought
That's
so.
how it is everywhere. All the swing states, like the big
Yeah.
cities are blue, and then the rural areas are red. And I'm like, dude, you guys should be blue the most.
Right.
They're negatively impacting you the most.
Yeah, because at least we have our shields. You get it.
Yeah, like the cities, like sanctuaries, and
Yeah.
like y'all
What
are
part?
living off the land and, and the
Yeah.
government assistance. It's like you guys, like if you're in the red area, you need it the most.
It just shows you that propaganda is really strong.
Yeah, really.
So, what part of Florida are you in? Like, are you central, north,
Um,
south?
I'm on the Panhandle, so like I don't.
Oh,
I'm trying to think of a place you would have heard of. Have you heard of Pensacola at all?
yes.
Okay, I'm about an hour out from Pensacola,
Oh, okay.
so
Okay.
yeah, around the Panhandle area.
Got it. So, all right, I'll swing it back to comics in a second.
No worries. I'm down to talk about anything. I'm also a huge music fan. I'm a
Really?
big music fan. Yes.
What do you listen to while we're here?
Um, I mean, I will listen to anything. Like, a lot of people will be like, "Oh, I like everything." I don't like everything. I will listen to everything except for
Yeah,
country. I'm not a big country fan.
fair.
But I'm basic. I like rap mostly.
Okay. Yeah, that's my main genre. Country, my thing with country is it's just so out of reach for me because I grew up in West Philly. Like, you ever watch The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
Yeah.
I'm from the part literally where he got spun on the guy's head, like that exact neighborhood.
Okay.
So, country's out of reach. You have to,
Yeah.
it would have to be like a super top 40 country song for me to even have a chance.
See,
So like,
I'm the complete opposite of thing. It was so oversaturated in my childhood that I just don't want to hear it anymore.
interesting.
Yeah, it was like it was
Okay.
all. And my dad was like a big influence when it came to like the music I listened to. Because when I grew up, it was like Lil Wayne, it was Kanye, it was Eminem,
Hmm.
Drake. But as we got older, he got a lot more red, and
Got
so
it.
he doesn't listen to them anymore.
So when did you graduate high school? Just so I can get a gauge on your generation.
What did I grade? 2019, 2018?
Oh, you're young.
Yeah, I'm 23.
Oh, to compared to me, I'm 33.
You do not look that old.
I get that every time. So like, for whatever reason, in my job, you're either, I hate vague terms like young and old, but you're either like, they're either just a little bit older than you, or they're old enough to be my mom. There's no one in their 30s at my job like that. So they automatically assume I'm like 25.
You're either in the bottom or in the top.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. Like, maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm just
Hey, it's a
lucky.
good thing. I
Yeah, it's a
mean,
good thing.
yeah. I've been told I look younger than I am, and I'm like, hey, I'll take it. Hopefully that lasts,
Yeah.
because my dad is bald.
My dad is bald too, and he's been bald since he was my age.
Dude,
So
yeah,
I'm
my
just
dad, my
lucky.
dad's been bald since he was my age, and he has like a
That's
bald spot. I'm
funny.
like, Dad, please don't pass these genetics to me.
But in our defense, there's creams now to
Yeah,
help us fight that if we
I
care
can get
enough.
the hair insertions.
Yeah. Okay, so mostly hip hop. Who's your favorite rapper?
If I like broke it down, there's like two styles I like. Like I like the more melodic side, and I'm a big like Juice WRLD fan.
Yeah,
But then like the more like story based side, I'm a big J Cole fan. I like
that's a
J
good
Cole
way
a
to
lot.
put it. So for me, since I'm a little older, I've seen it change a little bit. If I like Juice WRLD a lot. Like old me would hate me, but I like Gunna. And I don't think he's like great, but I like the melodies. And like on the lyrical storytelling side, obviously I grew up with Tupac, but I don't even remember him getting shot because I was like preschool. But I like the topic, the his topics. I love Lupe Fiasco.
I love Lupe. I'm a huge fan of Chicago rappers. Like I love
Really?
Chicago. Yeah, yeah. No, I love Lupe. So, like his whole discography.
Okay.
Drogas Wave, Drogas Light, all of it. I love Lupe.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
so it's funny because for me, Lupe was one of those people who made me realize it sounds corny, but there's art in everything.
And he
Like,
has like super like complex like themes for his albums. Like
yes.
they're a lot more complex than just like, oh, this is just a song about whatever
Yeah.
and move on to the next one. Yeah, it's like a whole story that goes along the whole album.
Bingo. And that I can relate that to comics or like literature because it's like, yeah, this is a story, but the author really saw something or he really wanted to tell you something.
It
So
makes you realize it's more than just a book, more than just a
yeah,
song. It's like it's an art. It's someone
yes,
expressing like what's in here on here.
bingo.
Yeah. No, it's great. That's why I'm such a big fan of like those kind of like artists.
Yeah.
I'm also big New York area too. I really like Joey. I'm not a big fan of Florida rap. Like I don't really like Kodak like that, but
I can see
I
why.
love Denzel so much. I'm a huge Denzel Curry fan.
Really, he's dope. I
Yeah.
need to get into him more, but every time I'm running into him on TikTok, I'm like, I just go to my Apple Music and add him right away.
I don't even know which album I'd recommend because they're all so good.
And I'll
Unlocked was
just
pretty good. Yeah. That one has a really cool like YouTube thing with it too, because every song at the beginning of the YouTube video, they kind of get sucked into a computer, and every
yeah.
song is a different file that they visit inside the computer, and it
Oh,
has a different animation to go along with the song. So like one of them's like anime like style, one of them's like puppets. It's really
yeah.
really cool.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna check that out. What's it called again?
It's called Unlocked.
Unlocked. I'm gonna add that because, like I said, I get in the trenches. I forget things. I'm gonna add it to my library right now.
Heck yeah. And then
So,
they have a version with like they have like a re-release the album where every song has a new feature on it.
mhm.
So like one had like Smino on it, one had Saba. I love Smino, like the like R&B. Same with like SZA. I love SZA so much.
Do you?
Yeah, dude, I love SZA
No, she's dope. I
in
have
more ways than
friends.
just her music.
Say again.
What I said in more ways than just her music.
Oh, no. I mean, no. I mean, I'm with you. She is nice looking. I like her music. Oddly enough, my students like her music, and they're in third grade. I'm like, how?
I mean, hey, you're never too young to vibe.
You're not too young to vibe. It's just like demographic wise, they're like You don't expect it because they have parents that don't even know what this stuff is. I
Yeah,
was like, where are you getting this from?
probably
No,
TikTok.
probably TikTok,
Yeah,
YouTube Shorts.
she's been viral. She had a couple viral TikTok songs. So
Yeah. So yeah, that makes sense. And some of my students know her as the girl from the Black Panther song.
you talking about the best soundtrack of all time?
That is up there, isn't it?
It is. I would put Into the Spider-Verse as second, but
That's a
I
good
think the
one.
Black Panther soundtrack is genuinely my favorite soundtrack for a movie ever.
So before this is me aging myself a little bit, but I'm good with that. Age is not a big deal to me. Before then, I think a lot of my friends would have said, like my generation, we put Space Jam up there.
Okay.
So check that out whenever you're bored.
I've seen Space Jam.
Oh no, I meant the soundtrack.
Oh, the soundtrack for Space Jam.
Yeah.
The old one, right?
Yes. I don't remember
Okay.
the new one soundtrack that much. I don't know.
It was decent. It had a couple good songs on it. Like I had a Chance the Rapper song,
Okay.
a couple other ones that were decent, but yeah, nothing too crazy.
Okay. Yeah, because on this dang. R. Kelly's on the old one. I think they banned the
That
song from
aged
Apple
well.
Music. So, but even outside that, has a really good soundtrack.
Just R. Kelly featuring Diddy, like just aged perfectly.
Did they ever make music together? Do you know?
I have no idea.
Okay, maybe it's for
Be
the
the
bad side.
craziest song ever.
Oh, it'd be nuts. But I mean, they said that he was always nuts. I mean, I don't know because I'm not the best at following like that anymore.
Yeah, and it felt like it kind of just disappeared. Like it was like this big news, and then now we have no idea what's happening.
There's no developments from what I know.
Yeah,
It's just with these kind of things, it's gonna go through its
they just tell
process.
us what they tell us. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a lot of comics? This is random, but I'm going somewhere with it.
Um, what would you clarify as categorize a lot? In my comic app, I have around 5,500 like comics. That includes trades, single issues, omnis, just everything.
Oh
Um,
shoot.
but like probably 2,000 of them are trades. I'm a big trades guy.
Wait. Explain this comic app to me.
League of Comic Geeks. You ever use it?
No, I never even heard of it.
Oh, it's really great. It's free. It's on the App Store. It's called League of Comic Geeks. They have every comic in there you could possibly find. And you just, when you have the comic, you go in, you can either scan the barcode of the comic and it pulls it up, or you can just search it up by creator, issue, whatever.
Oh shoot.
And then you can catalog it into your account. And so it keeps track of all the comics in your collection. When you read it, you can mark as read. You can review the comics 1 to 5 stars. You can see other people's reviews and like what they thought about the books, the general like consensus rating. What's really cool about it is also gives you your stats. So like if you go into your comics and click stats, it'll show you how many of this writer you have, how many of this character you have in your collection, the genres you have in your collection, and it kind of ranks it for you. It gives you a recap at the end of the year like Spotify does. It's really really cool.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I
Yeah,
literally
it's
just
like
downloaded it.
that's what I describe as Spotify for comic collectors is what I would classify it
Oh.
as.
And you said you have like 5,000?
Over 5,000, yeah.
Where do you store them all?
Well, I had my own place, so I had like long boxes and shelves and stuff like that. But I just recently moved back with my mom,
Okay.
so they're all in storage right now. Got that
Got it.
climate control storage unit to keep them
Yeah.
protected.
Yeah.
You never know with Florida weather; it could flood
I
and then it could
I
freeze.
I thought about that because my grandfather actually lives in Southern Florida.
Oh, really? What part?
He's a county over from Miami. I don't remember the name of the county right now.
I'm going out of Miami in May for a cruise.
Oh, really?
Pretty cool. Yeah,
Is it what,
go
Caribbean
over
cruise?
Mexico.
Oh, okay, that's dope.
Heck yeah.
Okay. So climate culture. Okay, knock that question out for me. All right. Give me 1 second. I lost my list again. What comics are you hunting for these days?
Right now, I'm trying to collect the rest of the Radiant Black series so that I can read it all kind of in one go.
Okay.
So it's in. Have you heard of it?
I don't think I have. What's that about?
It's an image comic. It's best way to describe it. It's a mix of Invincible and Power Rangers, essentially.
I've seen
Like
this.
that's kind of the vibes. Yeah, a mix of Invincible and Power Rangers, and
Yeah.
they have like a vast universe that's kind of been built off called the Massive Verse. So I'm trying to
Okay.
collect all of it and then just read it all in one go.
Okay. Yeah, I've definitely seen this, but I don't think I knew what I was looking at.
I've only read the first volume and it was pretty good, but I'm ready to kind of like collect it all and read all the way through because my buddy Stu says it's some of the best stuff he's read.
Okay, yeah, it's pretty recent too. It's only 30
Mhm.
issues. Okay.
Yeah, Kyle Higgins wrote it. He's done a lot of stuff. Nightwing. There's another book that he did for DC. Yeah, but Nightwing is one of the ones he did.
Okay. I know he did Batman Beyond back in the day.
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah, that's all I know from him, I think. Yeah, and I think he did random Ultraman books because I know the name is. Oh, he did a crossover I've seen. See, I'm terrible. I'll have things, don't read them because I'm like, oh, I'll get to it, and it just sits on my shelf. But I have his Ultraman, and I can't think of it. It was a crossover Ultraman somebody.
I knew who Ultraman is, but I've never read it. Like it's like the reddish looking guy.
Yeah,
Kind
so
of looks like Way Big from Ben 10.
yes, I feel like
Yeah,
Way Big was based off him a little bit design wise because
I love Ben
Ultraman's
10.
before my time. That's like basically he's like in that genre with Power Rangers over in Japan. So he's like the precursor to Super Sentai
Okay,
because he's all the way from like the 60s.
I didn't know he went back that far. That's
Yeah.
cool.
So but the difference between him and Super Sentai is he's solo. So yeah. This is random. While we're talking about Super Sentai, did you ever know that the existence of Spider-Man is a big reason to why we have Power Rangers?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, basically, when Japan got a hold of the Spider-Man copyright for their show, it did a lot of things that Super Sentai, aka Japanese Power Rangers, ended up taking. Like he was the first one to have like a Megazord, basically.
Huh? Did
So
you know
that
that Donald Glover is the reason we have Miles Morales?
I low-key did
Yeah,
because I remember him.
because he was supposed to be cast as Spider-Man,
Yes,
and then they
but
kind of
then
just based a new character off of him.
yeah, and I remember did you ever watch Ultimate Spider-Man?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know he voiced Miles on there for the his first few appearances.
Oh, I didn't know he voiced it in the cartoon.
But then, he's Donald Glover. He has too much to do, so
Dude,
they.
I genuinely think Donald Glover might be one of the most artistically like talented people of all time.
Oh, absolutely.
Like he does everything. Like he's done comedy, he's
Yeah,
done writing, he's done, directing, choreography, he raps, he sings, he acts.
yeah.
Like Atlanta was phenomenal. He's just good at
He
everything.
did stand up.
His stand up was funny.
What they call that? They call that Renaissance man.
Yeah, he's just good at everything when it comes to like art.
Yeah,
I want
yeah.
to see if he can draw. I bet he can draw too. I just
Probably
feel like he
can.
can draw.
Like I wouldn't be shocked.
Like he's already crossed every other art off his list. I feel like he could draw.
I wonder what in people's brains that their creativity crosses over that much.
They're just born different. They're built different. Like I think it's one of those things. It was just hardwired in because there's no
Mhm.
way. Like learning one skill is crazy enough, like to learn
Yeah,
an instrument or something like that, but to be able to do them all and
like
like
rapping, singing. Like I
really,
can't.
really well too
Yeah, like I
is
can't
just
even
insane.
imagine rapping good, and he's just great at it.
Singing and then he goes and acts and then he directs it and like it's just crazy.
Writes it. It's crazy. I guess it's kind of like it's not exactly the same, but you just brought him up from My Chemical Romance, was it?
Yeah, Gerard Way.
Yeah, yeah. He also did Umbrella Academy. Did you watch that?
I've watched like the first season. I'm pretty sure
So
it was good.
it was all right. The last season was a little flat, not because it was actually bad, but I think TV shows struggle with endings.
Yeah, that's the kind of it's same with comic books. Really, like comic books, especially events, they
Hmm.
really struggle with ending like story arcs and events in comic books
Huh.
because it's like you have all this build up. It's so hard to bring it to a conclusion in one
Yeah.
issue. You know?
Oh, yeah. I guess that would be similar.
Yeah, it's you have all this build up for a 8, 9 season TV show. It's like how
Mhm.
do you end that? And people who've been watching the show for 10 years, how are you
Yeah.
going to make them happy with the show, their comfort show ending? You
Right.
know?
Because one thing people don't realize is within their universes, their lives still go on. So it's like,
Yeah,
how do you end this chapter of their lives would make it seem like that world's still going on? Or, I mean,
I think we just at the end of every TV show ever just
yeah.
have the world end. Just
I mean, wouldn't that be
just
easier?
just
Or kill
here's
the
your
main
ending.
character
The
off.
world is over.
I
There
mean,
will be no spinoff. There will be no reboot. The world just blew up as soon as the last episode was filmed.
listen, that's what the Arrowverse had to do. You didn't get to any of that, did you?
I'm like 2 seasons behind, but
Listen, I love DC. It is not an essential watch to me.
I think the first like 5 years of the CW
Yeah,
were some of the best like superhero content we've got.
I agree with that, but it went on too long, and
They struggled at the end, yeah,
yeah
and they lost budget, and they lost like their characters started like not giving it their all, except for Grant Gustin. Grant Gustin gave it his all every
yeah
single
he sure
time,
did, sure did. I
but
think,
everyone else just kind of gave up.
and some of the storylines that did with the side characters was a little weird.
And it was just like the suits were always good, but the CGI was always horrible. Like
Yeah, but
not
that's
always,
TV
but like
budget.
whenever they started going downhill, it got really horrible. And it's like,
Yeah,
dude, it was good CGI in 2016, but it's bad in 2024. What are you what are you doing?
yeah, yeah. So it's like I get it. Their budget's not like Disney Plus's.
Yeah, but I'm also not a big like CGI ruins it for me type of person.
Mhm,
Like if the movie's still good on like Green Lantern,
mhm.
I don't think the problems with that movie are the CGI. To me, at least, I know it's bad, but it doesn't affect me in any way
It's
really.
funny because I know it's considered bad. I don't think I would have noticed if I didn't realize that was the rhetoric out there.
Yeah, and it was 2008. I mean, they CGI'd his whole costume. I feel like that was the part where they messed up.
Hmm.
But Ryan Reynolds was a decent Green Lantern.
He
Hal
fit
Jordan,
me.
it was a decent movie.
He
It was all right.
reminded me of. Did you ever watch any of the DC animated films from like the 2010s, like the
Yeah, yeah,
ones
the
based on New
DC
52?
AMU.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
He
I
reminded
watched them
me
all.
of that version.
Yeah, Nathan Fillion voiced him.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, it has one of my favorite scenes in Justice League War where he's like taunting the parademons and then they
And
like
they
jump him and
punch
start
him?
punching him. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's my favorite scene ever. He's like, "You want a piece of me?" And then they just jump him.
They just jump him and like just like, oh, okay.
But
No,
yeah,
he was pretty
Nathan
funny in that
Fillion
movie.
voices him.
Actually, I love Justice League War. I'm a big Wonder Woman person, so
Oh yeah.
I enjoyed her fighting Darkseid, like bringing it on, demon. It's like you really are strong.
Yeah, Wonder Woman's great. I'm fully caught up on her and all of her stuff's great. I really love G. Willow Wilson. Her run on Wonder Woman,
Hmm.
phenomenal. And just while I'm here, G. Willow Wilson's writing a Poison Ivy run, and I mention it on every podcast and every episode of anything I ever do. Anyone watching, read G. Willow Wilson's Poison Ivy. It's
I
so
will.
good.
I will add that to my list.
It's really really good. It's like probably about 40 issues in now, but it's been going for a couple years.
Oh, that's what I meant to ask you. How quickly do you read comics?
Like a single issue?
Yeah.
It depends. It depends on who's writing it. Like if
Okay.
Tom King, I'll probably take me like 8 to 10 minutes. But if it's
Oh,
like, yeah, it kind of depends because some writers are more wordy. They
yeah.
write a lot more.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I'd say 10 minutes max for a single issue, and then for a trade, probably about 45 minutes to an hour.
Okay. You're giving me hope here because I'm actually a fast reader. Just, I think I get overwhelmed by the idea of being behind.
It's tough. I think what helped was when I started, I knew there was no way I was going to ever catch up on everything, all like ever.
Yeah.
But I could like try my best and
Hmm.
hope to catch up on at least the big characters.
Hmm.
So like I would catch up on Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman.
Hmm.
So I'm caught up on these three now, and then I'd be like, okay, let's do Green Lantern, Flash, Aquaman. I'm like, okay, I'm caught up on these six. Let's do these three, and just kind of take it one at a time because it's super overwhelming if you try to think like there's hundreds of characters, hundreds of titles for the
Yeah.
last 15 years. How am I ever going to catch up on this? So
Yeah,
I
that's
kind of just take
possible.
it character at a time.
Okay. So I want to go back to the what's it called? DCAMU?
Mhm.
Did you like how they ended that universe?
Yes,
Well, I guess
but
they ended it twice essentially.
I don't like the universe that they started after that.
The Tomorrowverse.
Yeah, I don't like the animation. I think it looks very stiff. I need to go back and rewatch all of it, but I think the DC AMU animation was perfect.
I was fine with that. I like the stories are always fun for me. Like I
Except
enjoyed
for
the depth
Hush.
of,
They ruined Hush.
you didn't yeah, that was the one where they made Riddler Hush instead, right?
Yeah, and it's like, dude, you just took away the whole concept of Hush's character that makes him so good.
They did that so you won't be able to guess, I guess. But it's like, who cares?
Yeah, it's still cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. And it's weird because it links up to Under the Red Hood in the comics, but
Yeah.
Under the Red Hood isn't a part of the DCAMU. So it's like it kind of
Right.
takes away that big key point of Hush as well.
Right. Okay. Oh yeah, Under the Red Hood, they had their own movie, like just like
The best Batman anime movie of all time, in my opinion. It's
that's
phenomenal.
not. Yeah, I think a lot of people agree with you. Well, a lot of people say the one from the '90s was a mask.
Oh, Mask of the Phantasm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's good too. I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
But it's something about that conversation between like Jason and
Oh yeah.
Joker and Batman when they're just like, pouring their hearts out. I'm like, this is this phenomenal voice acting from Jensen Ackles. And
Yeah. I mean, can you think of a a Batman animated movie without thinking about them talking in the bathroom? Like, I don't think I can't.
yeah, I can't think of anything better. It's my favorite.
What other ones do you like? Because obviously, I feel like Under the Red Hood is like top tier for a lot of people.
I think I like Batman versus Robin.
That was good.
That one was good. Batman, or was it Batman?
What happened?
Bad Blood was good, but the one with the Court of Owls was.
I was just watching it, and I don't remember the name of it because they made so many of those Batmans. I feel like.
Yeah, Batman versus Robin was the one with the Court of Owls. Yes, Batman.
Oh, that was the Court of Owls. Yes, because he kind of became a part of the Court of Owls, kinda. So
Yeah, and then there
that's
was like Son of Batman. That was the one with Deathstroke and the Lazarus
yes,
Pits and
that's
stuff
when
like
he
that.
first
Yeah,
Damian Wayne first popped up. I like Son of
yes,
Batman.
that one was good. But yeah, I have to go with Batman versus Robin because incorporating the Court of Owls, the
Mhm,
Hellbat armor, it was basically one for one, and it
mhm.
was really really good.
I got a hot take. I don't like the way they ended it. Not because it was bad.
Oh, that movie?
Yeah, what's it called? Justice League Dark Apocalypse War or something?
Oh, like the whole universe?
Yeah.
I don't like how so many people died, and I don't get why Barry would like. I get the trauma, like Barry doesn't want to run back in time and change everything again because of what happened last time.
Mhm.
But I feel like Barry wouldn't, but then he did, and I was like, it feels off, but also like everyone's dead, so please bring them back.
Yeah. For me, it's like people are like, "Oh, it takes balls to kill all those people off." I'm like, "But does it take balls if you're just going to use the Barry Allen thing again?"
Yeah, Barry Allen's always the backup in
Yeah.
in all continuities. It's like, if we want to fix something, we'll just have Barry run back in time
Yeah.
really quick, and oops, it changed.
And it's like for me, it's like I just enjoyed those stories so much. It's like they're just like, all right, I'm done with it, and I don't know. So it's not
That's
like
fair.
critically bad. I just
It feels like a plot hole, kind of like a
yeah,
little loophole to be less
yeah.
creative in a sense.
So it's like people like I said, they were all like, "Oh, it's gory." As like you don't see superhero movies with gore. I'm like, all right,
I
but
mean, you do.
yeah, you
There's a good
do.
amount of them.
So yeah, that was like again, if I was to score it honestly, it's a really good movie, but it kind of hurt my feelings a little bit.
Yeah, just a very lackluster ending to it.
Yeah. Then they, like you said, they did that other universe where, like, outside of animation, it's just I feel like only two of the movies had like a story that mattered to me.
And then you got to the end, like the Christ on Earth, and it didn't even feel like it had as much weight to it. Like you weren't as invested in the characters as you were in the
Because
DCAMU.
it jumped all over the place. And then they just
Yeah,
expect us to like these people. And then,
and it had a really confusing continuity because it would do like the World War II Justice Society thing,
yeah,
and then it would jump forward to Superman, and then you'd have like this Green Lantern movie, but it's John, which is fine, but where are we at in the timeline right now? Because
yeah.
it should have been Hal, then John. So where's Hal? And then you jump forward again, and it's like, where's Kyle? Like, where's Guy?
But see, that's the
What's
thing.
the timeline?
I guess Hal died because he was parallax or something.
Oh,
You
did they
know?
not show that? Did not fill that in? Or was that in?
No, they just made it weird, so it's hard to keep up with.
Yeah, it
Because
just
I think
felt
it
kind of
happened in the Green
confusing.
Lantern, the John Stewart movie.
Oh, okay.
But then
I
they
heard that one was bad, so I just never watched.
Oh, I don't even remember what happened. I could be lying about the parallax thing. It's
I
just
mean, I'm cool with John being the main lantern. It's just like Hal still had to be first. Where is he? You know? You
Yeah,
want to kill off Hal, fine, but like at least make it known, like
yeah,
make it consistent. Like let us know that hey, this happened to him.
yeah.
Here's John.
No, they didn't
Sweet.
do a good job reinforcing like ideas and plot lines. It's just they hope we knew.
Yeah. Which I mean, as comic readers, we do, but like
Yeah,
not everyone's a comic reader, you know.
yeah. Some people just enjoy these figures. Like
Yeah.
I have plenty of friends who just love the MCU. They love the X-Men 90s, the Spider-Man from the 90s.
Which is fine. Like I don't get like the gatekeepers. Like oh hey you're just an MCU fan. Like you can't speak on this. I'm like dude, it's fine.
Yeah,
Like just let them enjoy the MCU. Who
yeah.
cares?
Like can't
Now, don't
speak.
start coming at the comics though. Like if you're an MCU person, you start attacking the comics. Like no, that's your source material.
Do you know people who do that, or you just making a point?
Oh yeah, no, just like as a point.
Okay.
Like as long as like like I'm cool if you're just wanting to
Yeah,
be an
yeah.
MCU fan and don't read the comics. But like don't take the comics for granted because that is where all the source material comes from for the
Right.
stuff you enjoy.
And I
When
think
someone's like Man of Steel enjoyers, when someone comes to you and tells you, hey, this is not a good Superman movie because in the comics, Superman is nothing like this. And they're like, no, it is. And I'm like, do you read the comics? They're like, no. I'm like, okay. So then you can enjoy it as a movie.
mhm.
Go ahead. That's your right as a person. But factually, if you look at the evidence, this is not a good representation of Superman.
Got it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
like
agree.
that's what I mean.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
don't disrespect the comics because you think it's a good movie. You could think it's a good movie. But
But to
it's
your
like
point,
saying Ben Affleck's Batman was a perfect representation of Batman. No, Batman's one thing in the comics is he doesn't kill people, and Ben Affleck was killing people a lot.
so I want to touch on that. The Snyderverse people, like, why is that a thing? Like, they're
I
like,
don't know. Look, I like the movies. I think a majority of the movies are entertaining movies, and I
mhm.
like them as a movie. But as a comic book fan, they're extremely inaccurate to the source material, and they butcher a majority of their characters.
So which you say you like a majority of movies, so which movies don't you like?
The ones I don't like are mostly for like Man of Steel. I think is just a man movie in general,
Mhm.
but it also doesn't help that it poorly represents Superman.
Yeah,
Wonder Woman 1984 is just a bad movie.
that yeah,
Um,
yeah, in a filmy way. Like it's not. Yeah,
it's just
just a
not even a
mess.
good movie.
Yeah.
Uh, what else came out in the Snyderverse? I personally like the Suicide Squad, the first one
Okay.
with Jared Leto's Joker and
Mhm.
Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, Will Smith's Deadshot. I like the movie. I can understand from a comic standpoint where it wasn't good.
Mhm.
Same with BVS. I like BVS, but again, I can understand from a comic
I like
point where
BVS.
this is it's a bad comic book movie, but
Mhm.
it's a good movie. Has some of the best fight scenes in it.
Okay.
It's cool, but yeah, it's kind of just a bad representation of the characters.
What about this is always a random one. What about Birds of Prey?
Birds of Prey is one of the ones that I think was a good representation of the characters. I just
Mhm.
didn't enjoy it as a movie.
Okay. I
Like
watched
it
it
was just
once.
kind of it was kind of okay to me. I
Okay.
wasn't a big fan of Huntress, even though it was very on like Huntress brand for her to just be kind of like a
Mhm.
loner-esque, not very
Yeah.
talkative character. It was just kind of boring. Her character was boring to me.
Okay.
Renee Montoya felt kind of dumbed down. Um,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Margot Robbie always killed it as Harley Quinn
Yeah.
every single time. Oh, also Cassandra Cain. That is the one that wasn't accurate. Was Cassandra Cain? I was peeved about that one. The little girl who was always stealing stuff.
Yeah. Cassandra Cain's like she's
She's
a
like a
hit.
dope. She's a dope assassin.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no, she's awesome. And in
They
that, she
watered her
was just
down.
a little girl who stole stuff. Like that was it. I'm like, this is not her character at all.
Yeah, they ain't treat her too much care. All right, yeah, so that's like 2 out of 4 characters that matter.
I guess yeah. Going back now that I'm thinking about it, I guess it wasn't that great of a Birds of Prey movie. Now that
See, I
now that
didn't
I'm
even
really
realize it until now because I kind of enjoyed it, but now that when I'm talking it over, Cassandra Cain is completely wrong.
yeah, like it was brutally wrong.
Hmm.
I don't even think they would have been able to redeem her if they wanted to make her accurate. Like
Yeah.
there was just it was beyond repair at that point.
Okay. Yeah, because she's like assassin lifer. Like she's like a prodigy, right?
Yeah, she's one of the best fighters in the DC universe.
I thought
Her
so.
mother is Lady Shiva, the other best fighter in the DC
Right.
universe. Yeah, and she's like traumatized from the League of Assassins, so she didn't speak for a long time.
They caught that
Um,
on Young Justice really well.
Yeah, she became Batgirl. Well, she was Orphan first, then she was Batgirl, and she has a Batgirl series out right now that's really, really good.
Okay.
Tate Bromball, he's the same guy who wrote a lot of the Something is Killing the Children spinoff stuff.
Tate who?
Tate Bromball.
Okay, I'm
He's
right. Yeah.
he's right. He's writing the new Batgirl series. Really, really good.
Okay. I've seen some of these before. Okay. So, how do you feel about the DCU going
Yes.
forward?
I love it. Creature Commandos was phenomenal.
That
The
was
trailer
awesome.
for Superman looks phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Lantern's casting is great.
Mm-hmm.
The casting for Supergirl is great. I am so excited. It looks really, really good. And I
Yeah.
really hope that people show up for Superman, because if this movie's really, really good and it fails because people don't show up, I'm gonna be peeved. Like,
I think people.
yeah, like if it's bad
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't do well, like it's one thing. But if it's good and it fails
Yeah.
because people just lost faith in DC,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be heartbreaking. You know?
I think with the trailer getting Super Bowl and playoff exposure, it's Superman because my friends that don't know comics, I don't even mean comic books, but like comic media,
Mm-hmm.
they think Superman is the most popular superhero. From what I know it to be Spider-Man or Batman.
Yeah, I'd say those are the top three. I think Superman's the most popular hero
Okay.
of all time. But
All right.
like when it comes to like strictly DC or Marvel, I feel like the first one people think of for each is Spider-Man and Batman.
Okay. So yeah, so with that being said, I think a lot of people feel like it's about to be a cultural moment.
I hope so.
Yeah,
And they have to compete with Fantastic Four too. So I really hope I hope it ends up like a Barbie Oppenheimer situation where
yeah.
people want to go see both so much that they go from one movie theater to the next one just to see both in the same night.
Is it the
And
same
it's not a
weekend?
competition thing.
It's the same weekend?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Fantastic Four and Superman are on the same weekend.
Oh shoot. I mean,
Yeah, I'm buying both tickets. I'm gonna
I
be there
am
for both
too.
movies. I don't know what I want to see first. I don't know if I save the best for last and watch Superman
Mhm.
last, or do I watch it first because I want to see it so bad.
In my experience, quick story, back in 2013, I saw Star Trek, I forget what it's called, but it was the second Star Trek movie in the J.J. Abrams series.
Mm.
And I saw it in 3D IMAX. And there was one part where the ship, like the Enterprise, was crashing into Earth because the bad guy did something and they're fighting for their lives. I thought I was in it. So I enjoyed the movie. I came out hype. I was like, man, that's one of the best sci-fi movies I ever watched. I don't even know if that's true, but that's how I felt in the moment. Then my friend, she goes, all right, do you want to go see The Great Gatsby? Because we used to get free movie tickets because she worked there. And I'm
Oh
like,
no.
oh, I don't want to watch The Great Gatsby. She's like,
It's
oh,
a
we
good
right
movie, but to
here.
follow up like a sci-fi epic with The Great Gatsby,
Listen, yes, and I hated it. I hated every moment. It felt like I was moving in slow motion because
it's not even a bad movie, but
it's
just like to
not.
follow up like
It's a
a
terrible
fast-paced
follow up.
movie.
Like I need to cleanse
Yeah.
my palate. I need to go home and like
That's
watch
what's so hard
Cartoon
about me
Network or
though. It's
something.
like Superman and Fantastic Four are both like gonna be sci-fi epics, so it's like which one do I
I
watch
guess you're
first?
right when you put it that way. Maybe I just need a reason to tell that story after 10 years. I think I'm going to do Fantastic Four first, just because I think it's going to
So
be
I think that'll be the first step.
yeah. See what you did
Ah.
there.
Take my first steps into the movie theater.
Only because I've absorbed a lot of MCU, whereas Superman will be something different for me. So I'll get the MCU thing out the way. And I'm a big Marvel guy. I love the DC stuff. Like I grew up on Justice League Unlimited for a long time. My top two cartoons were American cartoons, were Avatar: The Last Airbender and Justice League Unlimited.
Solid.
So
I thought you might be an Avatar fan. Avatar's not, yeah.
you can't say the slang about Aang.
Is that your tagline?
My friend used to say on our old podcast, so yeah.
That's what's up. I like it. Okay. Never seen Avatar.
So it's hard because the thing is, being how you are, you will appreciate every little detail in it. Every it's weird that people call things woke now because I'm like things were always woke. Like Avatar is like It's about I can't think of the words. It's about imperialism.
Yeah.
So
The Fire Nation wanting to take over
yeah.
everything.
So okay, you get the gist of it. So you would
Oh
enjoy
yeah.
it.
I know like the like I get all the pop culture references
Okay.
and stuff like that. I just haven't like sat down and actually
Yeah,
watched the show.
when you get
Same with Star
time.
Wars. I'm not a big Star Wars fan, but I get all the references.
So that was me. But I was more lived through the trilogy because you're my brother's age, so he likes it through osmosis, but he don't really know it. But I like Star Wars because that was a sci-fi back then. We didn't have Marvel. We didn't have good Marvel films back then. So Star
Back
Wars.
then.
No, I'm serious. 2002 was a nasty
Also
time.
back in the 80s, right? We didn't.
No, all we had was the Spider-Man trilogy and Star Wars.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, I've tried to give Star Wars a shot. It's just never really clicked for me.
It's
I think it's
not.
cool.
So that's the thing. It's not like the MCU where it can stand on its own. Like there's a lot of people could watch a MCU movie and be like, "This is it for me. I don't need a comic." Star Wars isn't that for me. You need to be all in it to enjoy it. I think like you need to play the games. You need to watch the shows. So I wouldn't suggest that to you. And that's not even me
I've
saying
played
it's
all the
bad.
Lego games. That's why I get all the references. It's because I
Got
played the
it.
Lego games, and I've played like the Force Unleashed and
That's
stuff
the
like
one
that.
with the redhead guy.
No, the one
Oh,
with Star Killer or whatever his
Star
name is.
Killer. Yes, where you're Darth
Yes,
Vader's
dude.
apprentice.
Yes, dude.
Yes,
I love that first
I
mission
grew
where
up
you're
on
Darth
those.
Vader and I just throw the clone troopers off the cliffs.
Yeah, they need games like that again.
Yeah, yeah. I miss them.
But yeah, we could do some wrap up questions since we're hitting an hour. Let me just pull up some questions
It's
real
almost
quick.
dinner time.
Oh, I feel that. I'm about to
Yeah,
go
I'm
on
ready to
to
make some
mine.
chicken rice. Gonna watch the Avengers movie tonight. It's gonna be a vibe.
The original one?
Yeah, me and my girlfriend are doing like an MCU watch
Oh,
like
nice.
order. We just finished Thor earlier today, so we're starting the
Okay,
Avengers.
awesome. That's what me and my wife did when we first met.
Really?
Yep. Now she's all
She's never seen any MCU movies besides Guardians of the Galaxy, and I think that was it. Yeah, just Guardians of the Galaxy. So I was like, okay, yeah, we're starting from the beginning. We're doing all the shows too. We've already
okay.
watched Agent Carter. Yep.
So okay, good segue. What's the best MCU show?
MCU or just Marvel show? Because would you count the first 3 seasons of Daredevil as MCU?
I consider MCU, but for the sake of conversation, let's keep Daredevil out of it.
Just best Disney Plus
Yeah,
Marvel
let's
show.
do Disney Plus. Yeah,
Oh, Loki.
Loki. Yeah, that's
I also really love. I don't personally understand the hate it gets, but I really love Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Want to know something funny? I
But
love Falcon and Winter Soldier. That's my favorite one. I know it's not the best one, but it's my favorite one.
yeah, it was really good, and it's you can tell
Mhm.
who didn't watch that show based on people being like, "Oh, Bucky should be Cap," and I'm like, "You please watch Falcon and Winter Soldier, and you will understand why Bucky should not be Cap."
Well,
Like
that's the
honestly,
sick
you don't even
part.
have to watch. Just watch the last speech in the show, and
Yeah,
you will understand why Sam Wilson's Captain America.
but then those people are they're goalpost movers because they see that and they're like, oh, there he goes being woke.
It's like he's in the comics. He becomes Cap in the
It's
comics.
literally been in comics for over a decade
Dude,
now.
you can't call any comic media woke because comics have always been fairly left leaning, fairly progressive.
Yeah.
Like it's just like that's how comics have always been. The corporations are the bad guys.
Hmm.
There's an immigrant is the biggest superhero in the universe.
Yeah.
Like it's fairly progressive content. Like you
Yeah.
can't say the movies are woke when they're just pulling from
Yeah.
stuff that's been around for
Exactly.
100 years.
And
Yeah.
the appearance of a black guy can't just be this woke thing, or appearance of a woman. It's like, get over yourselves.
Yeah, like listen. Did you listen? Like, you don't even have to like listen. Like, what Sam said makes him like good for Captain America. But if you listen to what Bucky's saying,
Hmm.
Bucky literally explains why he shouldn't be Cap.
Yeah.
Like,
Like they
I don't
debated that in
I
the
don't understand
show.
it. Yeah, it's the whole point of it was him trying to reconcile with the things he did
Hmm.
and realize that maybe he's not ready for that position.
Yeah.
And then Sam's, stepping up to be something, bigger than Falcon, to
Right.
be, the symbol for everyone, for what like you can be. And I'm like, this is phenomenal. It's great. It's the reason why Steve gave him the shield.
Right. So okay. These are I found the wrap up questions.
Okay.
So what would you recommend for someone new to comics? We touched on that a little bit, but just for anyone who's listening.
DC, I would say out the gate, if you're a big Batman fan, I would read Long Halloween and Dark Victory.
Okay.
Those are both Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. Great Batman books. It really gets his detective side, but you get some great art, you get some great action. A lot of of his big characters are in it. Marvel, I started at Civil War. That was kind of where I kind of I've read Civil War, but I'd also recommend anything Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale because they have the color series. So Daredevil Yellow details Daredevil's beginnings, Spider-Man Blue is Spider-Man's beginnings, and the stuff with Gwen Stacy and Green Goblin, all that stuff. Those are all really good books. And then indie, I gotta go Invincible. It's genuinely one of the best series I've ever read.
Okay.
So just some basic starting points for different characters.
And then they can expand from there. Okay. So you got a podcast with your friends, it seems like, right?
The Hall of Nerds podcast.
How long you been doing that?
Let's see. July makes 2 years. So about a year and a half.
Okay. And obviously you cover comics, y'all read and review them. Obviously you don't read them on there, but you review what you read?
Yeah. We every episode we kind of go over the new comics that we read that week.
Okay.
We talk about news. We do some fun games and segments and stuff like that. That's actually one of the big reasons I'm moving to Colorado. Is my buddy Nate's out there, and we're gonna do YouTube and TikTok full time.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm really investing in it all.
Okay. Good luck with that. I mean,
yeah.
And
I think you never know unless you try. And worst case scenario, I'm stuck in an awesome city in an awesome state with people I
definitely
have stuff in common with.
One thing I learned is, you say you're 23?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't want to be 73, but I should have tried that 50 years ago.
Yeah, I have time to do all the adult stuff. Yeah. I might as well, throw it out there, and who knows? I could be at red carpet premieres. There's infinite amount of things that could happen. Yeah. But if I don't try, then that's not.
And you're moving there in July? You said August?
August.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna actually come out.
Heck yeah, dude. Yeah.
All right.
We use some comic shops. I've been to all the ones in the area, and they got some pretty nice ones.
All right, I'm really gonna do that because I always want to do Colorado, so I'm gonna definitely do that because I'm off in the summer, obviously.
I suggest staying near Boulder. It's the nicest place in the area. It's so nice. Denver, not as much.
Really?
It's how do I explain it? I don't know how to explain in because you're in Philadelphia, so I don't know what would be a good. So I don't want to say it's New Jersey to New York because Boulder's nothing like New York. It's it's shops and very hipster-esque, just vibes.
So Boulder would fit for me because Philly is now there's the really typical urban part, and Philly is very hipster now.
Okay, so then it's that. It's that kind of more chill, vibey area of Philly, whereas Denver's the more city, high-rise areas of Philly. The more urban areas. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
But still both really nice. It's just Boulder. Boulder was so much nicer in comparison.
Got it. All right.
It's also where the university is. So Deion Sanders coaches over there. And
that's why I know Boulder. Because the people I work with went to that school.
Travis Hunter.
Yeah. Okay.
Shadur.
So, just plug in where we can follow you.
Oh yeah, I'm on TikTok. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Instagram at the Cozmik Collector. It's TheCozmik Collector.
Okay, I'll put it on the screen in post production.
Oh, sweet. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. All right. Well, thank you for coming through. We gotta talk more often.
Yeah, for sure. I had fun. I didn't even realize that hour went by fast.
It always does. It always does.
I love doing these because they're yeah, let's go on this podcast, and I'm always thinking it's gonna be some formal thing, and then really we just sit there and talk a FaceTime call for an
that's
hour.
how I try to do it. I have topics written down, but it's not ESPN. We don't have to.
Yeah, you just kind of branch off and have fun.
Yeah, even they freestyle when they're arguing. So.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well,
I'd love to come on again. Just hit me up.
All right, I got you. We'll make this a thing soon.
Sweet.
All right. Have a good night.
You too.
All right. That's it for the Avatar Slang podcast. Thank you for tuning in. And a special thanks to Cozmik Collector for coming through. If you enjoyed today's episode, click the follow button and leave a review. It's the best way to support me and helps more people discover the show. More listeners means more episodes. So share this with your friends or anyone who loves nerdy conversations. Want to go a step further? Consider supporting me at buymeacoffee.com/avatarslang. Every contribution helps bring you more great content. You can find a link in the podcast description or my Instagram bio. Don't forget to connect with me on Instagram and TikTok at avatar.slang to share your thoughts on today's episodes or anything else I post there. Thank you for being a part of the Slang Gang.